hatred feeling here, it automatically closes our inner door. As a result, you find it very difficult to communicate with other fellow human beings. So, from the Buddhist viewpoint, there is no sort of external evil force. Real enemies here. So you say self-examine, watching. Particularly those believers, whether Christians or Muslims or Jews or Buddhists or Hindus, it is very, very important to examine oneself constantly, whether you truly follow your own teaching or not. That's very important. Because sometimes we quite contented. Sunday church prayer in the church. And as soon as outside the church, no longer any sort of sense of spirituality. That's not effective. I think they attend the church is something like recharging your battery. So they actually use, the rest of the time, you have to use the battery. When battery become weak, and some meditation or some prayer, and recharge. So actual use is rest of the days. If you take any faith, then should take seriously and implement. Then you see you can change from within. So that's very important. I think human weakness, it is often, you see, without examining oneself, easily see something wrong outside and blaming, oh, this is something wrong. Never examine oneself. Before speak something on other, first you should examine. Finger must go here, no, not there.
The concept of karma is inherent in the Eastern tradition.
Well, karma is a very complex thing. People think of it in rather simplistic terms, and in fact think of it in a linear fashion, which is not how it works. Karma simply means choice. Anytime you make a choice, you begin to create an event line. And that event line is part of a web that extends into infinity. So it's not that one choice causes one effect. One choice causes an infinity of effects, and they occur in a complex way, in that these event lines, any one episode in your life, the entire universe conspires to create it. And so too, anytime you make a choice, you create and affect the entire universe for infinity. If you become aware of the awesome complexity of karma, and you become aware of the choices you're making, and just keep in your mind that every choice you make is going to ripple across the ocean of consciousness into eternity, then what happens is you become a conscious choice maker. And if you become a conscious choice maker, it's just enough to be aware, A, that you're making choices, and 2, that these choices are weaving event lines in the web of eternity. And just those 2 things will help you make karmically correct choices.
And what happens when you do then change the way of action? How does it affect your life?
Well, a karmically appropriate choice is one that creates joy for you and joy for everyone else that's affected by that choice. And that everyone else, of course, includes the entire universe, but of course it affects those that are closer to you much more. So every choice that you make should be made with that in mind. Is this going to bring joy to me? Is this going to bring joy to all the people around me? Some choices, of course, are entirely personal, like making the decision to have a cup of coffee. It doesn't really affect that many people. It affects you personally, but let's say you're making the choice to drink a lot of alcohol, that affects your family, it affects your social structure, it affects your job, it affects other people. So you can see how even simple choices really ripple across space and time. All suffering is a result of having made inappropriate choices. Suffering is not the same thing as pain. Pain is a very important physiological marker of imbalance and is a reminder that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. And if you heed the signal of pain, then you stay in balance. And without that signal, you would never know that, in fact, what is balance and what is imbalance. So pain is an essential experience for everyone. But I wouldn't say that suffering is an essential experience for everyone. Pain is a physical phenomenon, and suffering is totally in consciousness. You can have a lot of pain and not suffer, and you can have no pain and suffer a lot. So you find people who are terminally ill and they're dying and they don't suffer. And you find people who have a normal cardiogram and normal physical examination and normal blood tests, but they're suffering a lot.
My generation, now more here and here, now we are now ready to say goodbye from this planet. Now you young people, younger generation, you have to face next century. You have the, I think the key rule for that century. So right from the beginning, sometimes people talk about good future. Good future will not come from somewhere else. Good future, humanity ourselves have to make a good future. No one else. So therefore, our younger generation, you have to prepare, study well, and meantime, should take, care or examine your own mental attitude. If you see, big knowledge, but very narrow-minded heart, or bring more disaster. Even your own individual level, you will be, I think, a person. You will be a person always feel something wrong. No good sleep, no good digestion. You may not find a good friend or good companion. Whole your life eventually will ruin. This is a good brain with good heart. Your physical can be good, can be fit. Your family will be a happy family. You will be useful citizen of the community. And through that way, there is real possibility of peaceful world, friendly world, harmonious world, or prosperity world. So therefore, you see, much depend on our brain and heart. This you must, I cannot say must, but I think this is very, very important, you see, to know. And accordingly, you made effort. And then I think here, I want to tell or to share some of my concern. The family. Family have, I think, equally important sort of role to bringing the healthy next generation. And then also those people who are dealing in education field, you also have great important as a role or responsibility. Now, you should not consider, you see, just a teacher giving information to the student, that is to say fulfilled your responsibility. That's wrong. You should show to the student the value of these good human qualities. And like compassion, you cannot explain by word. You cannot introduce in the minds of students by word, but by action.
Is there any advice that you'd have to parents, although you need to do all the experiences, and apart from being a model for your children?
The only advice for parents: be a good model. Don't put pressure, and don't instill guilt in your children. Tell them that they are gifts from the universe, which is what they are, and they're not yours. You're just here as caretakers for a while.